What is going on, everybody? It is your boy Nothing But Skills, and today we're going to be talking about 5 things you guys should be doing to prepare for World Tier 5. If you guys haven't heard, World Tier 5 comes out April 5th. That is next Friday from the release of this video. So next Friday we will have access to World Tier 5. Now, to get to World Tier 5, you are going to have to complete the final stronghold, Tidal Basin. Now remember, this stronghold requires a gear score of 425, so if you haven't got to 425, that should be your first priority. And then of course, completing this mission will launch you into World Tier 5, where you will get access to higher gear score and other activities. So let's talk about the first thing you guys should be doing to get ready for World Tier 5. So the first thing I recommend you guys doing is saving your god roll talents that you have on these gear sets. So if you have a talent that's great for PvE, such as damage to elites, or you have something that's great for PvP like Berserk, or even the talent Unstoppable Force, save those items, because those items you can transfer later on with the recalibration station. Now what I recommend you guys doing is getting a couple of those items, putting those items in your stash space. So if you have some gloves with surgical, or you have some gloves with clutch, or you have a holster that has precise, the headshot damage talent, those are some really good talents you guys should be saving and putting those in your stash. Now another thing you guys should be doing is definitely check out the vendors. The vendors usually have some lower gear score items, but those talents still work. And once you get the higher gear score items, say you get a god roll high gear score item, well, you can transfer that talent over and then make those amazing builds. Keep an eye out for weapons. Weapon talents can also be transferable, so find the weapon talents that you enjoy using and then save a couple of those in your stash space. That way when you get those higher score weapons, you can use those on future builds. And at this point in the game, I believe that's the only thing your stash space should be used for. If you're not in World Tier 5 yet, and you haven't got those god roll gear set items with the highest gear score available, you shouldn't be saving it. The only thing you should be saving right now is those god roll talents on your weapons and on your gear sets. And once you get to the recalibration station, that's when you're going to be able to recalibrate all of those items. Now this takes me to my number 2 thing you should be preparing for is money. Money is key in the Division 2, and it costs a lot of money to start switching over talents. And say if you get a god rolled SMG, but say you want to use a specific talent from another SMG, but you don't have the perfect roll, but it's still good, it's better than what you have, and you roll that over. Well, the next time you go to recalibrate that same weapon, it's going to cost more. And before you know it, if you do that a couple times, it's going to get really expensive. Not only that, crafting costs money, and you should already know that to get some of the best mods in the game, you need to craft them, and crafting costs money, right? We go to the vendors. The vendors sell some really good stuff, but at the end of the day, they cost money, right? And some of those things get really expensive. So if you're struggling on getting money in the Division 2, check out my last video where I talk about a fast, easy, efficient way for you to get money with hardly any effort. Remember, doing control points is great for getting money. Doing missions is great for getting money, because all of those items that you don't use, you can sell those items, and after a while you'll notice your bank account gets a little bit better. My next recommendation for you guys to be doing before World Tier 5 comes out is level up your ability tree for your specialization. Now once you get one of your ability trees right where you want it, like my survivalist ability tree, I don't really feel like I need anything else from this ability tree. So now I'm starting to work on my demolitionist, because I want to use my SMG. Remember, when you guys build builds or when you guys watch YouTube videos, you have to watch what specialization they're using, because a lot of times that specialization is actually helping out that build. So keep an eye on their specialization and make sure that you guys are leveling these up. Once you level one up to a point where you think you're good, switch to another one and focus on that one. Don't keep switching back and forth. One mistake I did is I started off with survivalist, I jumped over to sharpshooter, now I'm over to demolitionist, so I was all over the place. So I have a couple points in almost everything. So my biggest tip is focus on one specialization ability tree, then you can hop over to the other one. But remember, if you guys want to create builds once you get to World Tier 5, having different specializations unlocked improves those builds by a lot. Like SMG builds work really good with demolitionists, AR builds work really good with survivalists, sharpshooter builds work great with rifle damage, and even those big sniper rifles. The next thing I recommend you guys doing before you guys get into World Tier 5 is farming blueprints. Yes, farming blueprints. You can get a lot of mod blueprints just from doing side missions, but side missions aren't the only thing that give you blueprints. Now, to get some of those more rare blueprints that a lot of people are talking about and a lot of people are using on their builds, you're going to have to do level 3 control points. And some of you guys might say, what do you mean level 3 control points? Well, let me show you how you can level up your control point to level 3, and once you get to level 3, that's when you'll get those more rare mod blueprints that you see people using on their build. So if we look for a control point that we don't have control over, so let's look for an enemy control point. We have one right here, Washington Monument. You see it has that 0-1, so that's a level 1 control point. But there are little red lines that are connecting other activities to this control point. So this propaganda broadcast is connected to it. Now, if I was to complete that activity, it's going to level up that control point to level 2. Now, this unknown activity is also connected to the Washington Monument control point. Now, if I complete this unknown activity, it's going to level up the Washington Monument to level 3. Now, once it's at level 3, that's when you can head to the control point, complete that control point, and as soon as you complete that control point and you capture it with friendly forces, you will be rewarded a random blueprint. Now, the rewards are all at random, so you don't know exactly what blueprint you're going to get, so you might have to do a couple level 3 control points to find that blueprint you want. But once you do get the blueprint, you just have to go to your crafting station, look for that blueprint, craft that mod, and then you'll always have that mod unlocked. Now, the final thing I want to get into is builds. So one thing I recommend all of you guys doing before you guys get into World Tier 5, play with your builds, play with your brand sets, play with your weapons. I'm not telling you to go out there and recalibrate stuff because I want you guys to save that money, but at least make one build. That way, when you get into World Tier 5, you know what talents you want to look for. You know what talents work really good together. You know what talents work good for PvE and what talents work good for PvP. If you don't play with the builds, you'll never really gain any knowledge. It does seem like it's a lot, right off the bat. There's just so many brand sets. There's so many attributes. There's so many combinations of talents you can put with skills. It can become really overwhelming. But what I'm telling you guys, take your time, enjoy, build one build at least. Watch a YouTube video, watch someone's YouTube video, try to build their build, perfect that build to your play style. And once you find a build that you're comfortable with, once you find talents that you like, that would help you out with other things I told you guys to do in this video. Remember, save the brand sets you like that have the good talents you want. That way you can use them later on. Save those weapons with great rolls so that way you can use them on other weapons with higher gear scores later on. And make sure you guys are saving money, working on those specializations, unlocking those exotics, doing everything you guys can do before you get to World Tier 5. That way, when you do get into World Tier 5, you can focus on builds and perfecting your gear sets and getting ready for the raid in episode 2. I hope you guys have found this video useful. If you guys did, make sure you guys smash the thumbs up. If you guys have any questions on the 5 things I told you guys to do to get ready for World Tier 5, let me know in the comment section. Don't forget, if you're new to my channel, first time watching my video, smash the thumbs up, turn the notification bell on so when I release a video, you guys get notified. And as always, guys, if you guys don't see me in conflict, if you don't see me in a dark zone, if you don't see me doing PvE missions, it's only a matter of time. Nothing but skills out.